Dun 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 dun. Welcome to RPG Ranked, the channel where all your favorite RPGs are ranked. What's up, brother man? This is your man Brighton from RPG Ranked, and we're gonna rank all of the Identity 5 hunters. I usually say Identity V, but for the sake of this video, I'll say Identity 5. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ranking all the hunters in Identity 5. So let's go. Okay. So we're gonna start with. I've tried to put them in order. I'm pretty sure this is right, like the order of when they were made and stuff. I'm gonna pull up my article that I posted, and also for some reason Hermit isn't on here, but I promise I am ranking Hermit on this list. I am gonna like use the prisoner or like the prospector as his character instead, because they're pretty similar, but I'll get to the Hermit later. So now, but we're just going to start from here. So I am going to, dang, should I have some fun names for the tier lists, for the tiers? Let's see. Let's see. So we got them. Hell, Ember, and Crew. They suck. You know, I know people like to say Dream Witch and Friends, so I'm going to do that. We got Dream Witch and Friends, Hell, Ember, and Crew. Now let's see, we have possible wins, probably ties, get good to be good. Let's see, Dream Witch and Friends will be this one. Okay, anyway. Dream Witch and Friends. Let's say the fun S tier people. I don't know. I'm wasting too much time on this. Okay, so here we go. I don't know. These are some interesting tiers that I just have here, but let's go. So first we have Hell Ember, and everyone knows where he goes. Worst hunter in the game, in my opinion. And here's why. Okay, I used to actually like this guy, and I'm surprised I did. Now, back when I only had him and Smiley and like, who's the other one I had? The Ripper, I think. Back when I only had like these three, Hell Ember was my favorite, you know, because like his puppets let you like teleport across the map. He can have, like, I used to think he had a good chase, and that's funny because I used to suck at the game, but like the Phantom would go and you could like have the Phantom go to the right and then you go to the left and be like, boom, guaranteed hit. That's not really how it works. Now, he has a good camp in that way, but still, his camp is not good enough to put him any higher. Like, you can have all these other people who have just as good camp and not garbage chase. He has no movement upgrades. So the only way you can chase is like assume, like you can see your puppet, see an enemy through the puppet and be like, oh, they're going to stand right there forever. And then you just teleport them and you hit them real fast. But after that, you can't do anything. Like your Phantom, like you can, maybe against unexperienced survivors, you can like I said, go right, go left, meet in the middle, hit them. But that's not going to do much. So like, I like playing Hell Ember, still kind of fun. I mean, with his Infernal Soul and like the different puppets and the Phantoms, it's fun, like the teleporting and all that stuff, and imbuing them with power and all that crap. But it's not really worth it. It's not worth it. He's not good enough for anything. Better than that. Then we have Smiley Face, who I find better than Hell Ember, but still not that great. Okay, so Smiley Face is pretty simple at first, right? Like, he has a dash attack. That's all he has. He has a dash attack, and you can upgrade yourself. Now, to get good at Smiley Face, it is hard. Like, equipping that stuff and then like dodging obstacles masterfully, then you can get good at Smiley Face. Like, the thing about Identity V is that you can play well as anyone. It's not like there's characters that are like, oh, well, I mean, that character's garbage. It's not like we have, like, I don't know, who's, like, a terrible character that, like, literally will get destroyed. I don't know, like Kimmery from FF10, just kidding. No, but we have characters like that who are like, well, they kind of suck. But, like, all the hunters, if you're good, you can be good. Like, Smiley Face, I feel like, a lot more than, like, this guy. Smiley Face, you can dash and, like, hit people and stuff, and then it's good, right? But even still, his dash attack is not enough for him to be better than, like, any of these other hunters, right? So, I think you get the drift. And then we have the Ripper, which is getting a little bit better. He is still in this tier, but he's not that bad, you know. Okay, so, here's the thing. He relies on his Fog Blades, right? And Fog Blades are a very slow projectile. And since they're slow, it's hard to actually hit an experienced survivor with such a slow projectile. And you hit the Fog Blade, and then you have higher movement speed and stuff. So, like, if you can hit those Fog Blades, the Ripper's pretty good. Like, he has a decent movement speed. No, like, breaking wheel movement speed, but, like, dang good movement speed still with the hidden and missed ability. But you rely on hitting Fog Blades. If you can't hit a Fog Blade, which you won't be able to against, like, good survivors, then you don't get enough presence to do anything later in the match, and then you're screwed. That's it. Like, the Ripper won't even guarantee a tie. Like, you might kill one person, and if you get lucky with your detention, but, like, the Ripper's just, I mean, unless you're masked, like, insanely good at predicting Fog Blade hits, then you don't really have a chance. Okay, then we have Gamekeeper, who is not as bad as these guys, and I think he deserves the get good to be good tier. Like, these guys, I don't see why you would be, like, playing them, and if you were, like, in a tournament or something. I'm obviously not good enough to be in a tournament. I'm not one of those YouTubers who's, like, the best at the game. I probably don't even deserve to be making this. Just kidding. I'm not as crazy as those people, but, like, I can tell you that these guys probably shouldn't play in a tournament. The guys more on this list, if you're really good, like, get good to be good. If you're really good as them, you're probably fine. And, like, these ones, you'll get ties. These ones, you'll probably get wins. And then these ones are just crazy, right? But get good to be good, Gamekeeper. And, you know, what I like to say, when I first played Gamekeeper, I was like, oh, it's like Roadhog and Junkrat mixed from Overwatch. But, like, you can hook to get closer to enemies, kind of like a Widowmaker grappling hook. If you don't play Overwatch, I'm sorry for making comparisons like that. But, like, you can go to them, and then you can double hook and go towards the survivor, and then hook them in, and then boom. Nice chase. And the traps are nice, although you can't really place them near... I don't think you can place them near rocket chairs. And, anyway, most people won't step into a trap, so I don't like the traps that much. But once you get enough presence, Gamekeeper is one of the few hunters that can Terror Shock from a distance. And his camp and chase are decent, but, like, why have a decent camp and chase when you can have a much better one from any other character? And his map control. Like, anyone on, like, the bottom half of the tier list, like, there's so many hunters in this game that have no map control whatsoever. And it's just like the 3 C's for me: control, chase, camp. You have to have all three of them to be up here, and that's why there's barely any hunters all the way up at the top. There's only, so, like, but Gamekeeper just doesn't have any control either. So, like, if you don't have any control, you can't get better than these tiers. So, Gamekeeper's just there. Then we have Soul Weaver, who, let me see, I swear I have some notes here. They're just on my phone. I have to scroll down. We have Gamekeeper Soul Weaver will be near the top of A tier or possible wins. So Soul Weaver has great chase, right? When you use the webs, you can boost yourself, you can slow the enemies, then you can spin attack or webbing or whatever it's called, and slow the enemies, get them all sort of debuffed and all that stuff with your webs, right? And you can also kill enemies outside of rocket chairs. I don't know if high tier play people do that, but I do that, so that might be dumb. But I like to put them in the cocoon thing and just, you know, kill them, right? Instead of having to... And then you can just, like, camp right on top of them. But, like, so your camp... him... I don't know what Soul Weaver exactly is, but camp is fine. Soul Weaver's camp is fine. But, like, it's good because you can use Cocoon Death and you can just camp wherever you want. And just the biggest problem with Soul Weaver, even though Soul Weaver is very good with all the buffing and debuffing and speed crap, you don't have enough webbing at the beginning of a match. You start with 40. And when you start with 40, you want to get your speed high, you have to wait for later in the match. And that's the biggest issue because it takes forever to recharge webs. If you recharge webs like you recharge Wax Artist shots, Soul Weaver would totally be higher on this list. And Soul Weaver is still good. I mean, way better than these other ones I've talked about so far. But Soul Weaver's just not good enough to be any higher. So then we have Geisha. Fun S tier people, okay? And I have S and S+. I don't know why. That's just how it works. If you wanted to, you could be like, oh, F, E, D, C, B, A, or whatever. Or F, D, C, B, A, S. Or I don't even know what I'm doing. F, D, C, B, A. Wait, now I have... Oh, I don't have an F tier. I didn't put an F tier because no one's truly F tier in this game. So it's D, C, B, A, S, S+, right? But you could say F tier if you want. Anyway, so Geisha will be in our S tier. Nobody can beat Geisha's chase. Like, not even the ones higher than her. Like, you can put a butterfly wherever and just instantly go to it. Such a short recharge time. Such a short recharge time. And, like... Geisha's butterfly dash is just better than like Nightmare's like weird dive thingy. Like Geisha just blows other chase out of the water. And that's like all she has. She has butterfly teleportation. That's what she has, but it's so good that it just works. Now her hitbox on her primary attack, pretty small. I mean, it's like a little dagger thingy. And also her but also she has that movement speed buff that when she goes out of her attacking form, she like walks. And she's pretty fast. So Geisha's just really good at chase. Her camp is not that great, although what is nice is that you can put a butterfly down near rocket chair and teleport over if you don't want to just camp, like if you want to like start taking down another target. But overall, Geisha is not great at camping. But since she's so good at chase, and since she can teleport obnoxious distances with the butterflies, I would say her map control is not that bad either. And, I mean, overall, Geisha's just pretty good. I mean, since she doesn't have good camp, I'm not going to put her in S+ tier like some other hunters. But, I mean, Geisha's still pretty dang good. And I think that she deserves where I put her on this list. And yeah. Alright. Next, we have the Feaster, who I'm going to put in probably ties. The Feaster... I used to love the Feaster. He was my favorite. He was my favorite hunter at one point, since he just has long-range attacks, right? That he can spam with the tentacles. But then I realized the tentacles are, like, really weird. Like, they'll miss all the time, and a survivor with half of a brain cell can dodge some of those tentacles. Now, why do I think that it's the Feaster isn't get good to be good? Well... when the tentacles work, they work. They do full hit damage. It's not like half damage like a lot of other attacks that are from a range. And the Feaster is pretty dang good with damage, you know. Great camp. Great chase. I mean, not great. Good camp and good chase. They're fine. Good enough. No map control, really, but... and when you get a lot of presence, it just spawns tentacles. You'll have like 4 tentacles around one rocket chair. And you'll just... and if you do that one ability, I can't remember what it's called, the one where you choose a target and you can hit them with tentacles as much as you want, you can have like those 4 tentacles just all hit one survivor at the same time, and great range and just great camp. And then the chase is fine if you can put tentacles in the right place, the chase can be good. So overall, the Feaster is pretty good. and there's not much to say about it. The Wu Chang, I say, is a little bit better than the Feaster. So Wu Chang is pretty versatile because you have the black guard and the white guard. The white guard lets you, actually, I think it has like the longest projectile range of any of these characters. So like you can hit really well. Like when you charge attack, it's super big. And Wu Chang, the white guard is great for chasing and hitting. And then you have the black guard, which is really good at camping, right? And you can buff and debuff enemies with Wu Chang, and you can with the different abilities, all of those soul siphoning things and stuff. I don't really like. They're buffing and debuffing, but I don't think they're big enough buffs and debuffs that I ever use them. So I mostly just think Wu Chang is good because you can switch between chase and camp mode, essentially, and you can teleport the umbrella. Now, the thing is, these hunters that are higher, you don't have to switch between them to have good chase and camp. You don't have to wait on cooldowns and like be like, oh dang it, I'm in white guard, now I have to wait 30 seconds. It's not 30 seconds, but I have to wait a while to be in black guard, and now I'm screwed because I can't just chase and camp. So Wu Chang is versatile, but since it's on such a long timer, and since other hunters just do it better, I don't think that Wu Chang can go any higher on this list. Okay, then we have Photographer, which is very interesting in my opinion. And we are just getting, apparently we're just having all of our B tier people right in a row here. Photographer, I'm going to put at the bottom of B tier. Photographer is not bad. Actually, here's the thing about Photographer. Photographer is such a weird hunter because it can literally, depending on the match, either be S tier or bottom of everything. So I'm just putting it here since it's a good place in the middle. But Photographer, if people are like cipher rushing, like 4 people on a cipher machine and just owning you by cipher, like the Photographer will take them all out in an instant in the photo world. But if you have people scattered around the map, maybe like that one AFK guy in the map back where you have no idea where he is, or like you just have no idea, everyone's completely spread out across the map, Photographer sucks. Like all it does will have 1.5 times basic damage, and that's it. Like that's really all you can do against a really scattered team. But when you have a bunch of people just going at you and trying to win, Photographer's amazing because you go in the photo world, you knock them all over, you put them on rocket chairs, and then they come back and they're knocked, and then you've essentially won the game. So Photographer can be really good, but depending on how the survivor's comp and how they play, Photographer can also suck. So I'm just going to put it right here. And then we have Mad Eyes, who goes in the get good to be good tier. If anything, the Mad Eyes defines the idea of this tier, the get good to be good. Because a pro Mad Eyes player will own you. Completely own you. Because you can like put in walls and all that crap, and just you are amazing. If you're a really good Mad Eyes, you can completely take down the enemy. Now, if you're not a good Mad Eyes, you're not a good Mad Eyes. Like, there's nothing that's going to make you good. Like, I mean, map control on Mad Eyes is great. Camp and chase completely depend on how good you are. Like, you have to really know Mad Eyes like the back of your hand. And so you're like, oh, well, if you're good, I mean, it's not your fault if you suck, so why shouldn't Mad Eyes be like up here, right? Or up here, where he can hit anywhere across the map. Well, he has no direct chase or camp. Like, all he has is his one ability where he can hit enemies from across the map. And that wouldn't be that bad. It would be on one of these tiers or maybe this tier if it wasn't for the fact that survivors can take you down. Survivors can take you down by hacking your, whatever, their portable, what's it called? Those machine thingies. I don't know what they're called. But Mad Eyes can hack those. Oh, consoles. Mad Eyes, survivors can hack Mad Eyes consoles. And because of that, Mad Eyes doesn't stand a chance sometimes, because then against a good survivor team, that's all you got. Like, once they've got rid of it, like the ones near the exit gate, once they got the ones near the exit gate, you're screwed. You're not even going to get a tie. So I Yeah, Mad Eyes can't be any better. Okay, Dream Witch. Obviously, top of the list. Always has been. Probably always will be, at least for a long time, unless they decide to change things up. Now, Dream Witch, probably the hardest hunter to play in the game, I'm sure. Maybe not the hardest, but one of the hardest, if not. But with all the crazy things, I mean, if you've even played this game, you know, you don't need me to explain why Dream Witch goes up there. Like, with map control, with the 3 C's, control, chase, and camp, Dream Witch is just amazing. You have to know how to play her, but she's amazing. I think I can move on from here. Okay, then we have Axe Boy, which goes... Nope, there we go. Top of A tier. Axe Boy is very versatile. He has really good speed with his, like, restful roads or whatever. And he can just, like, totally get to... Like, his speed is, like, Ripper speed, but just better, because you can make roads. So you just walk on the roads, you can hit people, and then you have those long range attacks, because when those resentful souls just wind around, you can summon them back to you, and even if you miss, you get a speed boost. So no matter what you're doing as Axe Boy, you always have pretty decent speed, and you can always hit well, and because of that, your chase is good. And his camp, not the best, but I mean, it's good enough that he can, with his like long range attacks, it's good enough that he is on possible wins tier, because you can win decent with Axe Boy. Where, I mean, with these ones, it's more of a tie, but with Axe Boy, you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. And yeah, so we have Axe Boy there. And now we have Evil Reptilian. Evil Reptilian, I wish he would be better, but he goes and get good to be good. So Evil Reptilian is basic when you look at it. He just jumps. He jumps and can like double jump and triple jump, and then he crashes down and can do damage. Now, he's really confusing because the way the jumping works is you have no idea where you're going to end up when you jump. It's like super weird on the jumps. They're like really high, and you can't really aim well with his jumps. Now, if you learn how to like aim perfectly with his jumps, he can fly across the map in one ability. Like Evil Reptilian can get across the map in seconds, like on par with the breaking wheel. Kind of. I don't know. That might be saying too much, but Evil Reptilian has stuff going for him, but since he's just clunky and it's really hard to actually use the praying leap and like get around, Evil Reptilian can't go any higher than our C tier. Okay, Bloody Queen, S tier. Not S plus tier, but S tier, okay? Bloody Queen, I don't think is as good as Geisha. Here's why. Geisha's cooldown is so fast on her butterfly. She's just like, boom, butterfly. Now, Bloody Queen is like, okay, well, decent enough cooldown, but like, it's still pretty slow. Now, what Bloody Queen has is amazing. So Geisha has the best chase in the game, but Bloody Queen has the most impossible to kite. You can't really kite a Bloody... What am I saying? You can't really kite a Bloody Queen, since you can just like, boom. That looked wrong. But you have a Bloody Queen, and you have the mirror projection, and you can just like walk in on a hunter, and they're screwed. Like, there's not much you can do about that. And that's, like, with that, Bloody Queen is just amazing. Just with that ability. And that also allows her to have good camp. She can also get across the map, because if you like use the mirror to teleport, because you can swap, yeah, just Bloody Queen can get all over the place. Not as much as Geisha, but I'd say these two are about on par. It just depends on... Geisha's a lot easier to use. I suck as Bloody Queen, I will admit. Like, of all the hunters, Bloody Queen is one of my worst. Now, Geisha's one of my best, but... So these could be swapped. I think it doesn't really matter depending on your preference. I think a lot of people would say Bloody Queen's higher, but I'm going to say Geisha's higher, because at least for me, I think Geisha's better. So then Gar 26. Gar 26 is actually my favorite hunter in the game. Just to play. And that might be a weird opinion, but I love Gar 26. And I'm going to put him, this might be a little high, but I'm going to put him in S tier. His camp is the best in the game. You can just put a bunch of bombs down. You have the remote bomb, and you just... There's nothing to stop getting hit. Like, if you go to rescue someone, you're getting hit by Guard 26. Guard 26, a good Guard 26 can double hit you instantly. A bomb, a remote bomb, and a hit. Boom. Just all the way done. You're down. And Guard 26 might not have the best chase against a good survivor, but you can usually end up finding a way, if you have good aim with Guard 26, to hit them with those bombs. And Guard 26's camp and chase are great. And since Guard 26 is one of the only few hunters that has like a crowd control AoE type ability, I think that, like, with all this stuff going for it, I think Guard 26 is like barely in the S tier. Not like, I want to say S tier. It's just I have S and S plus tier in a lot of my videos, but like, I just think Guard 26 is good enough to be up here. One of the best hunters in the game because of amazing camp and decent chase and decent AoE. So then we have Disciple, who I am putting in possible wins. Now, some people are like, oh, well, Disciple's amazing. And yeah, she's fine. Disciple, I probably am putting her a little bit lower than she should be. And that's because Disciple's my least favorite hunter in this game. I don't know what it is about Disciple. I like the idea with the cats and the double hitting and all that. I just don't like Disciple. I'm bored every time I play as her. But that doesn't mean that she isn't good, right? So you put a cat on someone. You can do a bunch of different things. You can stun them and double hit them. You can stun them and double hit them. Or you can intimidate them to disable their decoding and healing and item use and stuff. You can just use it, and then you can teleport to just dash at them once the cat's clung to them. So I just think you have great camp and chase since you can stun them and debuff them and all that crap. So Disciple, I think Disciple actually deserves to be up here, but just from what I've played, I'm going to keep Disciple here just to stay equal to what I put on my article. But I do think that Disciple totally can deserve to be higher. Just, in my opinion, I don't like Disciple, so I can't put a character I don't like super high because it just feels wrong. But I do think that Disciple's really good. Okay, then we have Violinist, who I find to be just here. So Violinist has some cool abilities. Demon Notes, you put a bunch of them on them. You can decrease their movement speed by 12 and their decoding, healing, and gate opening speed by 50%. Violinist is the master of debuffs in this game. Now, does Violinist have good camp and chase? Kind of. Here's why. So Violinist, with that one ability, the Terrifying String Music, or is it Terrifying String Music? Or something. Rhapsody. You can attack fast and put on Demon Notes, because there's no backswing on the attacks. But it's still just normal attacks. And you're like, oh, well, Terrifying String Music with long-range damage. I do like Terrifying String Music. It's fun, but any good survivor will be like, oh, they're going to place it there. And then it's just like, oh, oops. I just wasted time with a long-range attack. Now, if you can hit them, if you're really good at Violinist, it's a good long-range attack. And if you vibrate it and bend it, it's one of the other few crowd control AoE abilities in the game. But Violinist, the Demon Notes are what put it this high, because Demon Notes are amazing. And I think that saves Violinist from being in B tier with the Demon Notes. But I don't think that the normal attacks having no backswing during Rhapsody and the Terrifying String Music are good enough to put it any higher on this list. Okay, then we have Sculptor, who I'm going to put at right here in front of Geisha. Sculptor is just really interesting. You can totally mess with the survivors and put them where you set them up for a basic attack. Now, there's like no other hunter I really can think of who can do this. Like, Bloody Queen is the only one I can think of who can really mess with a survivor as much as Sculptor can, because you can just push them into your physical attacks. You can home at them with the Sculpture of Wisdom. Is that the best one? Sculpture of Wisdom. I think so. That's what it's called. No. Sorry. Wisdom and agility are the normal ones. Nobility is the one that you can home on them, can hit them from side to side or frontal attacks, and it does half damage. And then you can also, but you can put them into your normal attack. And then you can like use hieroglyphic graveyard to just absolutely like go from a third person's perspective and just place a bajillion. And you get like 5 charges of each of them within seconds. You just can mess so hard with survivors. Even really good survivors sometimes will have a hard time playing against a good sculptor. And I think that Sculptor is one of the best hunters in the game because of that. Sculptor used to be better. It used to be like completely top tier, I think. But I don't think it's there now anymore, but I still think that Sculptor is one of the best hunters in the game. Okay, now we have, who is this? Undead. Okay, Undead will be going at the top of D tier, I think, yeah. Undead has good camp and chase, but since the developers wanted to make him unique, he ends up sucking. Because the way he knocks enemies and you have to wait for them to bleed out. Waiting for enemies to bleed out works sometimes, if they can't self-heal anymore, and you're just trying to put someone else on a chair and you wait for them to bleed out or whatever. But bleeding out should not be a main mechanic for any hunters, and that's what Undead does. And it balances that by letting them move faster. Now, without them moving faster, it could be decent, right? But it just takes so long to kill enemies. And you can just heal. Like, it's a lot easier to camp, like, I don't know. The idea of, since he takes a long time to kill, the idea is to go take down targets while other ones are dying, but then that means you can just heal them. And not only does his way of killing suck, but you can overcharge yourself if you're not careful enough and then disable your abilities. So Undead I feel like they did him dirty a little bit too hard. I don't think he needs to be this unaccessible and like hard to use or whatever. I don't think he deserves that rough of a treatment. So now we have the Breaking Wheel, which is another one of the best hunters in the game and the only other one in Dreamwitch and Friends. And I know that I'm just literally stealing from that one other dude who put Dreamwitch and Friends and put these two things. The rest of my tier, I think tier list is different enough. I just like the Dreamwitch and Friends moniker. But so we have the Breaking Wheel. The Breaking Wheel can get across the map in like an instant. So map control, boom, there we go. Chase, also boom, super fast. Then the way spikes work, you can do tons of damage. Great camp. You can move across the map super fast. You can break pallets and all that stuff. Just Breaking Wheel, it's amazing, especially on high presence. Now, Breaking Wheel is also very hard to use, especially very hard to control, but Breaking Wheel, once mastered, amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So, Breaking Wheel is great. Okay, then we have Naiad, who I put at the bottom of S tier. So her chase is nice. Her camp is nice because of how humidity works and how that one dash attack. What is that dash attack called? Surging Tides. So you can dash at enemies and hit them with the humidity, and then you can just like completely AoE them with humidity. Now, here's the issue with Naiad. The humidity isn't super easy to stack up, but with one of the only crowd controls in the game and decent camp and chase, I think Naiad deserves S tier. Naiad isn't my favorite character, but she has like high movement speed, and also too with all her humidity based stuff, she's great. I think that she would be a little bit better if they didn't make it as hard, like if they made it a little bit less humidity required. Oh gosh, my chair. A little bit less humidity required to actually damage them. But like Naiad is still a really, really good hunter. Okay. Now, Wax Artist. I really, really like Wax Artist. It's fun. But I don't think that Wax Artist is good enough to go anywhere but in D, not D tier, C tier. And where is... Oh, just below Mad Eyes is where I'm putting Wax Artist. So I don't think she is in D tier or whatever, like some people say. But I still think the problem with wax artists is that there are just high walls and a lot of ways that you can just completely ignore long range attacks. Now, if you are able to bait a survivor out into an open area, then you're set. Like, wax artist is amazing, the long range attacks and stuff. And you don't even have, like, the energy is essentially non-existent because you get so much of it. But wax artist, on like Eastern servers, I've heard that wax artist is played a lot more, and people say it's at like A tier. I just don't think that like, do they have like different maps or something, or we just hate wax artists in America, North America? But I don't know. I don't really know. But anyway, wax artists, just because of the nature of maps and how people have learned to kite in the game, where they just like bait you around pallets and drive you crazy. I just don't think that wax artist works well enough to be any better than these. Now, I still think wax artist, if you get him into an open area, is better than all these hunters. Why is it? Sorry, the lights are going weird. I just don't think wax artist is amazing, but I don't think they're that bad either, so I'm going to put them there. Okay, then we have Nightmare, who I put second to last. Now, I used to think Nightmare was so good for some reason. Nightmare was one of the few so, like, this is how I unlocked the hunters. I got Ember, and then Smiley Face, and then Soul Weaver, and then Feaster, and then Nightmare. For some reason, I thought Nightmare was the best back then. Because I was like, oh, well, I can summon a Raven, spot survivors, teleport to them, and then just dash at them. But I was playing against bots, I feel like, because they didn't even try to kite around pallets and stuff. And you can't dive through pallets with Nightmare. So someone can just stand behind a pallet for the whole match and bait you out as Nightmare. The only reason I put Nightmare above Ember is because you can just teleport wherever on the map. And at least Nightmare has a little bit of a chase. So Nightmare's a little bit better. But I don't think that Nightmare is just... It's so bad. I used to think it was so good, and I feel like an idiot for it. I used to think it was an S tier hunter, guys. I'm so stupid. But Nightmare just... And it doesn't even have a deduction system, so it's not even fun to play. It's bad hunter. These two are boring as heck, and they're just... I don't know. Don't play Nightmare. There's no reason to ever do that to yourself. Okay, then we have Clerk, the relatively new... Why is it talking about my jazz choir? Sorry, guys. Clerk is interesting. Our second newest hunter. And, Clerk is interesting, and I don't think it's that great. I'm going to put it right here. That's probably a little bit low. But the only thing that Clerk is just so complicated. But it isn't like Breaking Wheel or Dream Witch, where it's like hard, but it's worth it. It's not like a high risk, high reward, or like really hard to learn, high skill ceiling character. I just feel like Clerk is like, if you can record the abilities right, like you can double hit, but it's super hard to double hit. Like you'd have to be amazing. Or the biggest draw is just you can nullify the effect of pallets, like Clerk. But even though you can nullify the effects of, I still think that Breaking Wheel is still a little bit better than Clerk at ignoring pallets. So, I mean, if you're just getting pallet spammed, I think that Clerk is a good hunter. Like, if you somehow know you're playing against a bunch of people who will just spam pallets, then, I mean, Clerk is interesting. I think Clerk is also, like, the hardest hunter in this game. It's just, it's so weird to use the abilities, and I just don't really think it's good enough to justify how hard it is to use. And I think that, just think it's too hard. I mean, it's fun, it's weird, it's interesting, it's a very cool idea for a hunter. I just feel like it could have been better. And I think the biggest thing, ignoring pallets, and the other thing is you can just look at any cipher machine. Oh, and you can uncode cipher machines, which is cool. Like, Clerk is one of the coolest hunters in the game. Like, I think it's super interesting to play as Clerk, but I don't think it's good enough. And if you get good to be good, like this whole tier, I feel like they're good. It's just, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't think they're good enough. Okay. Then we have the newest hunter in the game, Hermit. Just came out a couple days ago. I love the Hermit so much. I'm going to use the Prisoner. Actually, I'm going to use the Prospector. I think the Prospector is a little bit more like the Prospector. This is the Hermit, guys. Read Hermit, not Prospector, okay? Hermit. This, I know it just came out. This probably nerfs, and I don't have very much experience playing with it. Nobody really does. But I think Hermit is an S tier hunter for sure. I think I'm going to put it above Guard 26. This is Hermit, okay? Hermit is so fun. Like, new, not favorite. My favorites are still like Guard 26 and Geisha and Sculptor and Wax Artist. But, dude, Hermit is going to be my favorite hunter soon, I'm sure. Just the whole polarity switching thing, super cool. The fact that you can damage 2 people at the same time with 1 attack, super cool. The teleporting thing, super cool. The stunning, really cool. It's like an upgrade. It's like Prospector, Prisoner, and Disciple all together, but better. Now, I don't think it's as good as these 5, but so far from what I've played, the Hermit is hard, but amazing. Like, this thing is so good. And I am excited to see the future of the Hermit and be able to play it in some more matches. Now, could it get nerfed? Yeah. Could I have played against some like bots and thought it was better than it was? Maybe. You never know. I only played a few matches. I just bought it and stuff, right? But the Hermit is amazing right now. And it's just super good. And I hope that it doesn't get nerfed too hard. Because this guy will probably, once I get better at Hermit, it'll probably be my favorite hunter. So, thank you guys all for watching. I'm sorry you had to wait so long just to hear about the Hermit. But, you waited. If you're still here, you are literally the coolest person ever. Now, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos. I'm RPG Ranked. Usually there's a guy named Seth, my brother, who is helping. He doesn't play Identity 5 though, so not really, he wouldn't be very helpful. But I have, right now I don't have other Identity 5 videos, especially since I suck as survivors. So I haven't really made any survivor videos yet. I haven't made a video for like Antiquarian or whatever because I just suck at survivors. Like, I die every single match. I only play Hunter because I just give up on survivors. But I will make more Hunter tier lists every time there's a new Hunter. And hopefully one day I'll get good enough at survivors to be able to give a good opinion on them. I'll probably bring in a friend to help me with that. But since I was introduced to this game by a friend, believe it or not. But thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ring the notification bell for more videos every Saturday. We also, if you go to rpgrank.com, there's a companion article to this video, as well as a lot of other articles for different games. Now, a lot of the videos will be RPGs, so a lot of like Final Fantasy and stuff, but there will be like Overwatch videos coming soon and more videos like that. So if you like any of those games, please check out the channel. And there will be more Identity V content in the future, or Identity 5, whatever you want to call it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, nerds. Gamer nerds, game on.